Alright, g'day everyone. In this video we're going to be looking at how to use the tracking functionality in Xero. So this is used for job coding, maybe tracking profit centers or cost centers. You might have different divisions in your business that you want to track separately to see how the P&L is running for each different division. You might be looking at a particular job or particular project that you want to track the cost just on that project specifically as separate to everything else. You might want to track the expenses to the different motor vehicles that you have in your company, what car is using more fuel compared to another one, and that sort of thing. So there's a wide variety of uses that you can use tracking for, and it really is quite handy to use and to be able to slice your reporting in the manner that you need to see it. So we're in the demo company here. We're going to go to, at the moment nothing is set up, so first we need to set up the categories. We're going to go to settings, scroll down, advanced settings, tracking categories. So we've got tracking categories, manage tracking items for more powerful reporting. If we click this star here, this is going to bring it up into the main menu of settings, but we don't need to. It's not something you use. You don't need to adjust the settings every day. You sort of set it up and then use it from there. Go back and make adjustments if necessary. Okay, so we can see that there's actually a few already set up here in the demo file. So they've got region. So this is, I guess, like kind of like a division or a part of the company where they're making sales in different parts of the city or different parts of the state. So we got the main category here, region, and we got east side, north, south, and west coast. So to add a new category, you just go here, add tracking category, and then you type it in here. So let's say we're going to track motor vehicle spend as well. And the categories, we'll just make a few up here. Commodore, you might have a rego number as well. So we've got two vehicles we're going to track here. Save. So now we've got two tracking categories. We've got motor vehicle and we've got region. We might just set up another category option for region, and we'll say the central region. And then just click save. And it's as simple as that, very easy to set up. So now if we go back to the bank reconciliation, okay, so let's have a look at this invoice here. I'm not sure if they would have used the tracking category on the invoice. Let's have a look. Okay, so here are the tracking categories here. Region, motor vehicle, the one we just set up. So they haven't used anything here. So what you might be doing is, if your tracking categories relate to income, if you want to track parts of income, you'd be using it on your invoices as well. Probably not motor vehicle, that'd be more an expense tracking item, but for region, you could say that this particular invoice was in relation to the central area. That's the code we just created. Okay, we'll go back to the other invoices and we'll do another one like this. Bayside. We'll edit the invoice. So we'll put this to West Coast. West Coast. But then let's say that there was, on this invoice to Bayside Club, there was a job to a different area. So I'll just put in here miscellaneous sale, $100 to sales, but this one happened to go to the south area. So now we're splitting it out. We got the top two items are going to the West Coast and the bottom items going to the south region. So now we'll go back to the bank rec. Okay, let's say this smart agency let's just say that this was in relation to a job on the east side. No motor vehicle tracking on this one. And we'll just say that this is for a job in the north. Now let's have a look at a couple of these. Okay, we've got some parking here. I'm just making up the contact, the who item here, just for the sake of the example. It's not important in this case. So we've got parking. It's not there. Motor vehicle expenses. Okay, this is going to be parking for the Commodore. And this parking is going to be parking for the Falcon. Okay, so what you would do, you'd go through, you'd do your reconciliations, you'd do your invoicing as well. You'd apply it, the region where applicable, the motor vehicle where applicable. If it's not applicable, just leave it blank. And then we can run a profit and loss. Okay, this is the newer profit and loss, which I don't really like. I'm going to go to the classic view. The classic P&L, which is the P&L that doesn't have a star on it. You can do the same in the new P&L as well, but I'm just a bit more familiar with this one, so for the sake of the video here, I'll just do it here. Alright, so we've run a P&L. You've got your options up here. This is where it defaults to, common formats. And you can see down here we've got compare regions and compare motor vehicles. So you can get a really quick view just by going compare regions. And then up the top here we have all the different regions. Central, east side, north, south, west coast. So that central was one of the ones we edited before. And we can go into that and have a look. and that is that Boom FM invoice that we edited previously. So going back to the P&L, so we got our categories up here, then we've got unassigned. So this is anything that was left blank that we didn't assign a tracking category to. And that's fine to have unassigned. Another way you can use this report is that if you have a general rule that everything is assigned, because the problem with this now is, by looking at it just on the face of it, we can't tell whether all this stuff is genuinely unassigned or whether it was missed by mistake. So what you can do to get around that little problem is to have a tracking category. So we'll go back to the settings. Advanced settings. Tracking categories. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create another region for, we'll just call it miscellaneous. The idea being anything that doesn't go into central, east side, north, south, or west coast that we're not really tracking, we're going to put to miscellaneous. And okay, we won't worry about it for the motor vehicle at this point because that's a pretty narrow category. Like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of expenses that don't relate to motor vehicles. So we'll just do it for region. We'll go back to the bank rec. And we'll say that this one, I'm just putting it to a miscellaneous contact now just to push it through. So region, we'll go to miscellaneous and reconcile that. Go back to the P&L, do a refresh. So there's our miscellaneous category that we just created, and that there is the $2,000 that we just did with the GST taken out. So now if you're running a system like this where anything that you don't want to assign to these regional categories here, if you put that to the miss category, then you know that when you run this report, you go profit and loss and then click on compare regions, you know straight away that all this stuff here in unassigned has been missed. So then we're going to have to go through all this stuff. So you go right click, I normally go open a new tab so that I can come back to my old screen without having to navigate through the menu. And we can go through all this stuff here and reassign it to one of the categories. So it's just, well, I should have done the open a new screen again so that we don't lose this list. So I'd start opening these up. This has got a payment made to it, so I'm not sure if it's going to let us change the job code. Let's see. And when I say job code, I'm referring to the tracking category. It will, that's very good. So this is going to go central. Okay, get rid of that. And this one, we'll put it to, when it lets me, east side. Apologies, the internet is a little bit slow today. So now we've recoded, we're looking at unassigned here, unassigned region, and we've just recoded these two. So if we do a refresh, Port Phillip and Hamilton Smith will disappear from the top of the list. There we go. That was a different Hamilton Smith. Okay, so back to here. Yeah, so if we use that system of using a separate category for items that we don't want to assign, we call it MISC in this case, you can call it whatever you want, then we know that anything that's been left in unassigned is has been missed, and we need to go through and assign it to one of the categories. So that's a really good check to then make sure that your coding is accurate and nothing has been missed. We can also go compare motor vehicles. And where are we? So we're at the Commodore and the Falcon. Let's see if we can find those two items. There they are, the two parking expenses there. $10.91, that's $12, I think it was, less the GST. And the Falcon, same there, $10.91. And unassigned all this stuff. But as I was saying before, you probably wouldn't bother assigning everything. Well, you could. You might have like an overheads account, like admin or overheads, call it something like that, and then use that same thing that we were doing before, where you know that anything that doesn't go to these vehicles would just go to an admin account or an overhead account or a miscellaneous region, and then you know that anything in unassigned needs to be allocated. That's up to you. So another report you can do, where it defaults here to common formats, we got compare regions, show date range, compare periods, and in either of these items you can go more options and filter by region. So only look at east side, and also a second filter, you can go all motor vehicles, Commodore, Falcon, or just leave do not filter, which would be the same as all motor vehicles, and run your report that way. So you can do this with pretty much all of the reporting. So let's have a look at another quick example. We're going to do an account transaction report now. And if you can hear my computer fan buzzing in the background, apologies for that as well. I think there's a bit of dust in there that needs a clean out. So let's just go all accounts, date range this month, we'll go this financial year, report settings, and we can filter down the bottom here. Let's filter by, I only want to see items going to central in this particular report. So maybe we're going to run a report here and then send it off to the manager of the central region, for instance. That's where tracking is quite handy. Even running a P&L by region and see which regions are performing better than others, which regions are spending more than others, different ratios of spend to sales in the different regions, and you can really drill down to see what is driving it, whichever way it is going. So yeah, we've got accounts receivable, business bank accounts, and balance sheets accounts, which I'm not too concerned about. Sales here is a bit more interesting. So you've got those two items there that went to central. So that's pretty much it, guys. The tracking categories are very handy. You can use it for all kinds of different things. It allows you to filter and drill down into your business, and then to see where you are performing and where you're underperforming. you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll keep these videos coming. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something, please give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.